Every drop has a story, every source has a voice. From the tap to the table, we bring the facts into focus. Let's talk water. Bring water into focus. Let's talk water with Nolan Pinto.
So, welcome to Let's Talk Water. Over here, we really like talking about water and everything to do about water, from water conservation, water policies, and much more. I'm Nolan Pinto, and today I have with me Shashank Singh. Thank you so much for being over here. Shashank, I was reading a few articles that have actually come out in the open about you, what you did. Now, I'm confused. You're a mechanical engineer. You go to rural parts of Rajasthan. You leave that job and you focus on water. What happened?
After my engineering, I joined Cycle as a quality engineer, and it was my first job, and everything was going well. But actually, what happened during my job at Cycle, I came across this fellowship SBI Youth for India. It's a 13-month fellowship program. And what surprised me was seeing young graduate people from the cities, from the different backgrounds. They were working in villages across India on different domains like environment, solar energy, water, women empowerment, health. So it looked very appealing to me. Ever since college, I wanted to do some work like that. And I come from a small town from Bihar. And I never had experienced village life while growing up because my family settled there from last 2 3 generation in that town. So I wanted to see how village functions and how people think, and how most importantly, what I can do something for a rural setup or a village. So fellowship looked to me as an opportunity, I can experience something to challenge myself. So it was not something I left my job from Hero Cycle or corporate. So it was like choosing to understand a different life. And that decision eventually brought me to the fellowship and then to Rajasthan working with NGO.
Shashank, a few days ago when we were speaking, you told me you recollected one incident. You said that when you went over there to the village, one woman told you either do something or go, or leave us alone. What was that?
So, during the fellowship, I was placed with NGO Barefoot College at its field center, village named Chota Narena in Ajmer district, Rajasthan. And being an engineer, I already had something in my mind that I should work on solar, and Barefoot College work is known globally for solar. So, I went to that village with this mindset. But while doing the initial survey in that village, I came across this elderly woman, and I was asking some questions to her, like, what are the problems you are facing? What I can do for you? Then, in that moment, she looked at me in a very serious way, and in very serious tone, she said, like, if you can do something for water, then do it. Otherwise, you can leave. And in that moment, I realized I should not impose something, and I should um, try to put something try to put my idea on them. So I should listen more to them, and more to the people and the community, what they are suggesting. And in that moment, I changed. And After this pond project, when pond projects was finalizing, I um, realized that, in fact, eventually that pond project had no engineers, and no architects, and no any technical person were involved. So it was entirely like, village people coming forward. They told me about the problem, and they suggested what the best solution could be for these problems.
I'm just thinking of one thing, that what that woman said. Do you suppose that she said it because most of the time we come from the urban areas believing that we know what issues, what problems they have? We come with that prefix mindset that, okay, we know everything. Is that why you suppose she said this, do this or go?
I think yes, because she must have saw many people coming for these kind of survey, and some kind of solution and some projects. They go to the village and they suggest this is the best thing for you. And maybe in that moment she realized, like, I need water, and if you can do something for water, then do it. You should not tell us what could be the best for us, rooftop solar or anything, any other solution.
Okay,
So I think
interesting.
we should
Listen to them.
not have such mindset for the prerequisition for that thing.
So what you're saying, Shashank, is the best thing is go and listen to those people. They know what they have, and so we deciding what is
Listen.
good for them. Okay. So now in your pond
Yes.
project, you said that you brought the entire community, and I was reading that it was entirely hand dug. It was community led. What's the difference with bringing the community together than bringing outside machines and equipment and so on and so forth?
So initially, that pond was not a project. We were discussing it, and somehow what happened, the entire village, they agreed for the Shramdan. And the entire village came together and they did this Shramdan and clean that pond area to see what solution and how the water flows here. And we just wanted to see. And eventually what happened, then they said, like, we should build a pond here. It was entirely, that idea was entirely from them only. It was not something I was only facilitating that thing. So village elders, they become very active and they came together and they walked with me through those catchment areas, through the field, and through the entire landscape. And slowly the community become highly motivated, and they also contributed around 2 lakh rupees for the labor and the contribution. And after that, the NGO, they saw this sense of ownership in the community, and they supported the financially. But the community, they decided that the work should create a local employment, and especially for women. That's why we didn't use any machine or contractor. I think around 140 people, they got employment from this project, and mostly they were women. And one more thing, I don't think that not using the machines or any external means um, related to sustainability, like, it's at some places we really need machines. Like, if it is a rocky terrain, we
Yeah,
definitely
you
need
require machines.
excavator or machines, because people, they cannot by their hand. But what I mean, the real question is, like, who owns the project? I mean, even the machines, even if the machines are coming, we really need to involve the community. We need to have a committee of local people, because they understand the landscape. They are going to be the custodian of that project, not the just beneficiary of the project. So for me, the sustainability comes from the community participation and local knowledge and that local ownership, because what I call water logic to the landscape is the community coming forward. So that's why we machine were not required in that project, so we didn't use machine. So it's like that, like, even if we are using machine, we should involve the community.
Nice. Okay, so basically ownership, and that is what your college also saw. Perfect. But now, Shashank, you are actually known for something else. You have completed what, some 7,200 odd kilometers motorcycle ride across 9 states to understand what? Water. Fascinating. What was that all about?
Uh, I mean,
7,900,
I
7,200 kilometers just for water.
yes, just for water, it was for 64 days. I was on a motorcycle and I was on road. So like after my fellowship, I wanted some break and I wanted to ride. I love riding and I love motorcycles. So since college, I had this thing in my mind, I should go on some long ride and long journey. So after this project happened, I thought I should do this ride with some agenda and with some purpose behind it. So this ride came up, Harvesting the Heaven. The campaign name was Harvesting the Heaven. So I mean, after the fellowship and that pond work, like one question stayed with me was like, how do communities across India they live with water, and what their this water wisdom. I wanted to learn about water wisdom, and I also wanted to create some awareness on water conservation. So that's why I took this ride with purpose to create awareness also, and wanted to learn about it, traditional water wisdom. So that journey was not some formal research project. It was kind of a learning
An
journey. I
exploratory
traveled to
sort of.
listen. Yeah, it was like, but and one thing I realized, like during that journey was people, they already understood the water issue is deepening. And I mean, they may not use the technical language like to explain the crisis, but they knew, like when the pond started shrinking, and when the rainfall pattern changed, when wells started drying and started declining. And I noticed some similar patterns during my journey. I would like to mention here, like in Rajasthan and Gujarat, in western part, I saw women carrying clay pots for water, and in Tamil Nadu and in coastal belts, I saw those pots were replaced from clay to plastic pots, but the crisis was same.
Wow. No, I just want to ask you this. You said that those people actually understood that there is a problem. When you say that, you're talking about the urban areas, people understanding that there's a problem. We're talking about people in the rural areas understood that there is a problem. Because sometimes I feel people in the urban areas don't seem to understand even today when we're just going about destroying everything.
Actually, urban India, they experience water in a different way. They experience water through like taps, pipelines, tankers. But in rural India, people, they experience water through landscape.
Hmm.
Like they understand water logic of that landscape, what you call the local ecological intelligence of that landscape. And for me, during this journey, I realized water is not just a resource. Water is a relationship between the landscape and the society. And I think one thing urban India often misses is this: water security is not just created at the tap, in our homes and in our bathroom. Water security needs to be created at the landscape. Like it is like uh, um, it's a very simple thing. You can see how we are filling up this mm, um, local ponds we
Yeah.
had in our cities, and wetlands, we are filling it up. So those were the landscape of that underground water. So
Shashank,
like
Bangalore or Bengaluru was known as a city of lakes. Now it's only buildings
I
everywhere, hardly a few number of lakes.
I know. So that is the thing I'm saying. We really need to understand the landscape. We cannot merely just say save water at our home, use less shower, or don't open the tap for so long. We really need to understand, because once the landscape, that water landscape has gone, we cannot do much about it. Like So
Okay.
urban India really needs to think about this water logic and that landscape.
Actually, that is what I wanted to ask you about. You have spoken about in the beginning also traditional water systems, uh, but now it's completely broken, and that can it be restored realistically, in your opinion? Because you kill a lake, you destroy hills,
Yes, like
the topography goes for a toss.
I think that those structures themselves did not vanish. Like relationships around those pond, you can say pond or lake, that has weakened. Like for centuries, India developed water system according to local ecology and the rainfall patterns. Like different regions, they had a different system and different laws and custom around those ponds and lakes. But and also those water structures were social institutions. Communities maintained it for so long, and but I think how we can do is restore those structures is first we need to learn about the landscape around it. Like we really need to fix those landscapes around those water structures to keep them alive. And like if the pond has been destroyed, we cannot do anything much about it, but those ponds and lakes which are remaining, we really need to focus on those, and we need to strengthen them, strengthen the local institutions around a water stewardship, we need to build it. So yes, I think it can be stored, but not as a heritage restoration. A restoration of a pond is not just desilting it. We have to restore the catchment, the community
The
participation,
entire
the
ecosystem
landscape,
around it. Yes.
everything we need to fix around it. Yes, that entire ecosystem. So
You
maybe our future, our yes.
No, you mentioned rules. The funny thing is, we have so many rules. We have the model groundwater bill, we have the national water policy revisions, and newer frameworks that are coming in. Why are we still facing a lot of crises? I mean, is it because implementation is the issue?
I think I mean, India doesn't lack policies. Like one of the bigger challenges, implementation and that ecological integration between those departments. Like today, you can see forest, wetlands, or floodplains, groundwater, and the land use are often managed separately by different separate departments, but ecology doesn't function department wise, so everything is connected. And like um, that's why maybe these implementation, like they don't sit on the same table. So that integration, we need more integration between the departments. And um,
So
like
you're
it should
saying
not be just
it's very interesting
making
because
policies. We need more proper implementation, integration, monitoring. Yes.
so I think I understood what you're saying. So here in Bengaluru, when you have one department relays the road, then you have the BWSSB coming and digging the road immediately. Then you have another department coming and covering that, and then you have another department coming to dig for drains. So there is absolutely no coordination. We one day we
Exactly.
see a beautiful road, next day they've already started to dig. So we're like, what is happening? I think and we see this regularly in Bangalore. So I
Yes.
understand what you're trying to say. My my final question, Shashank, is you were an engineer, okay, and you wanted to do something about water conservation. So for those youngsters now, how do they actually start? Because everyone says we want to do something. What do they do to do something?
Like if anyone, like young engineer or maybe a students, they if they want to contribute about water conservation meaningfully and want to work meaningfully for the water, like they really need to understand the landscape of your area. You really need to go and walk through that landscape and the catchment, or even if it is change, you need to find a water logic, because the rainfall is already happening. Like in our previous conversation, you mentioned like most of the areas, they are getting more than average rainfall, but still water
There's
is
no
not going to
groundwater.
the ground,
Yes.
recharge is not happening. So they really need to think, and they really need to establish a dialogue between among themselves, like all the local communities. So water is also commons. We need to talk more about it, more about the landscape, more about the rainfall, more about like how we can stop, we can store, and we can recharge. So first we need to start from our locality. We need to see, like, even where I am living, I'm trying to aware people more about that landscape logic of that water. I'm saying, okay, fine, we are living in such area, like it is some kind of a seasonal stream is there. So I said, okay, fine, if you are constructing something here, it's fine, you should construct, you have this right of purchasing that land and something, because government wise it is fine. But you need to give passage to the water also. You cannot just stop water also. You should see that natural flow. We should not disturb that natural flow. So we really need to come up with these questions, and we really need to look around our surrounding and see what we can do. So not like I mentioned earlier, not just saving water in the tap or shower or the or
Right
wash
outside.
basin. So outside we need to see, we need to have a dialogue between the local governing body, like municipality, or maybe panchayats, wherever you are living. You need to talk to them. You need to establish a dialogue with them.
All right. This
So
is good. Yeah.
because conservation is not only about behavior, individual behavior. It's also about land and ecology. And um, like maybe instead of asking like we should do some bigger project and bigger initiative, we should ask like if something is already there, how we should restore it, and we should find a way to that. So
Perfect. This was good. Shashank, thank you so much. It was a pleasure having you here.
Let's talk water. Bring water into focus. Let's talk water with Nolan Pinto.